Hello, welcome to this new episode of the Alex Show TV. This episode is from August the 22nd of the year 2025. Today is a Friday. Today's show is going to be an interesting one, the Fall of Sophia and the origin of the Demiurge. As I said, we have been going through these kind of topics the past few weeks. The Book of Enoch, the Lost Gospel of Thomas, the Demiurge and the Matrix, the creator, alleged creator of the Matrix. And in this case, we go a little bit farther back in history. Okay, so the Demiurge existed. Where is the origin of the Demiurge? And apparently is from Sophia, a very well-known figure that in a way, what I'm going to elect to share about Sophia is a couple of things. It's a story of redemption, okay, because we make mistakes, or mistakes don't define us, or actions don't define us, or actions don't take away who we are. And also the concept of Sophia, of divinity, of a being that is expanded, that is sharing a lot of light, but has this feminine divine energy, okay? Because through history, particularly through mainstream religions, usually divine figures, usually the energy of the divine is associated as masculine energy, as males. And first of all, I don't think there are males or females in that sense, in divinity, in spirituality, as a spirit. But certainly I do believe in the masculine and feminine divine energies, okay? And they're just different. There's everything, just two different kinds of energy. And Sophia is one example of divine feminine energy. Not that she was a female necessarily. Okay, she was, but not what I'm trying to say. Not pinpointing the fact she was female, but pinpointing the fact that she was an expression of feminine divine energy. We have a support video to watch. Let's watch it together. Then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this very short Friday episode, the Fall of Sophia and the origin of the Demiurge.
Hey, what if everything you've been taught about the divine is a carefully crafted illusion, hidden deep within the sands of time? Ancient Gnostic texts, some dismissed as heretical, others completely destroyed, whisper about a cosmic deception that could shatter the very foundations of modern religions. Among these forbidden scrolls is the Apocryphon of John, a text discovered in the Nag Hammadi library in Egypt in 1945. This manuscript speaks of a being called Yaldabaoth, the Demiurge, a blind and arrogant creator who shaped the material world out of ignorance and claimed it as his own. But here's the twist: this being is not the true God. In Gnostic cosmology, Yaldabaoth is born from Sophia, a celestial figure belonging to the pleroma, or the fullness of the divine realms. Without the consent of the ultimate source, Sophia created him in a moment of error, giving rise to a deformed entity filled with chaotic power. When Yaldabaoth beheld his creation and the multitude of angels surrounding him, he declared, "I am God, and there is no other besides me." However, according to the Apocryphon of John, this arrogance blinds him to a greater truth. Above him lies an incomprehensible and benevolent divine realm that he could never reach. This is where things start to get unsettling. The Gnostics believed that Yaldabaoth forced the material world to trap human souls, enslaving them through desire, fear, and ignorance. Together with his archons, the cosmic rulers, he designed religions and hierarchies to maintain control, presenting himself as the only God, and thus ensuring humanity's submission. Could it be that the systems guiding our lives are actually the very chains that keep us bound to this false creator? The implications of this belief have spread throughout history. Consider the striking parallels between Yaldabaoth and the vengeful deity of the Old Testament God who floods the earth, demands sacrifices, and enforces obedience through fear. This profile is eerily aligned with the Gnostic descriptions of the Demiurge. However, the dominant religion has suppressed these interpretations, erasing texts and persecuting those who dared to question the official narrative. The Council of Nicaea, in the year 325 AD, marked a pivotal moment in Christian history. There, a canon was solidified that excluded Gnostic teachings. But what truths were buried in the process? Could it be that the spiritual awakening pursued by the Gnostics represents a threat to the
Okay, so I think that's a very good support video, and actually speaks more about the Demiurge and what we already spoke about a couple of weeks ago, more than Sophia. And And for me, Sophia is a great story because it's a story of true redemption. Okay, redemption, if it's fake redemption, like, hey, I'm sorry and I won't do it again, and then we do it again, that's not really redemption. Okay, true redemption, I think, starts with the act of contemplation, of magnifying, of dimensioning, of putting true value to what we have done. I killed someone. Okay, accept it. No, it's because I killed someone because I was obliged to it, because this person wanted to perm. Justifications in your mind. You're not gonna go through true redemption with justifications, okay? Again, and redemption is not about feeling sorry or feeling bad. It's about dimensioning and accepting, yeah, I've done it. Okay. That's the first step of a few. And the second part has to go with self-forgiveness, which is very hard, extremely hard, extreme. True self-forgiveness is extremely hard. Not to judge ourselves, that's one of the, I mean, not to judge others, that's maybe attainable. But not to judge ourselves is very difficult. I'm talking about truly doing it. And then afterwards comes the eternal promise, I've learned, universe. Creator, I've learned. I won't do it again, ever. There's no possible way. There's no justification of ever doing this again. This is in cement. This is unbreakable. This promise I make that this is true redemption. And for me, Sophia, let's put it this way. She was pretty high up as far as divinity, okay? What does that mean? She was on her way. She was on her way to reach the creation again, to going back to being seated beside the Father, okay? As religions say. That's one of the few things that religions really, I totally resonate with. We're going back, all of us, that what's called heaven, we're all going back to the heaven. That's our last step. And that's an eternal step, by the way. Once we reach back to creation, we're staying with creation forever. She was well on her way, so she was an old soul which was attaining that path, and she made a huge mistake, which was the creation of the Demiurge. There are many stories of how that happened, but let's just put it, we all made mistakes, okay? So it was a moment of weakness, something like that. It kind of goes back to the story of the Book of Enoch of the Watchers and all that, how these beings came from the skies and started, mixing with our human, with our female humans, were female people here on Earth, and goes back that the Sophia created the Demiurge, and the Demiurge was full of ego, okay, full of ego for whatever reason, and he wanted to be the creator. So he created all this system, let's call it a matrix, so he could be revered, he could be cherished, he could be adored as the true creator. He wanted that. It's not money, it's not power, has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact it was not sufficient for him to be part of creation. He wanted to be creation. Okay, that's the ego, and that's the abuse of free will. Okay, so Sophia has been highly questioned, high as a figure, because she created the Demiurge. And I elect to share this story. My feelings is that she is a story of true redemption because she came back from that mistake. Our mistakes don't define us. Our mistakes, we're not going to go to air quotes hell. Heaven does exist, is going back to creation. Hell is something we create on us. If we decide not to contemplate, not to self-forgive, and not to make the eternal promise of not doing our mistakes again, through redemption, then we create our hells. Okay? And we suffer for years and years and thousands of years and millions of years, and we feel, oh, this has to be something divine that I'm being punished. You are punishing yourself because you are not electing to come back and choose through redemption. And the story of Sophia is beautiful. I've shared already the divine feminine energy. That's fine. I'm not going to touch that anymore. That's one part of the story. But the most beautiful part of the story of Sophia is because it's a story of true redemption. So you might say, so she created the being that has kept planet Earth for hundreds or millions, hundreds of thousands or millions of years suppressed in this physical matrix? Yes. But she came back from that mistake. So just imagine that, what we can come back from. That doesn't mean we're going to keep making mistakes. That's going to mean that we're going to learn, we're going to dimension our mistakes, we're going to contemplate our mistakes, We're going to go through that very difficult self-forgiving stage. And then we're going to make an eternal promise. I grow. I'm a little bit better today because I'm not going to do this anymore. Ever. Doesn't matter the situation. I'm not going to do it ever. And that's true repent. That's coming back from our mistakes. So I hope you enjoyed this story. I know this story has many faces, has many angles, has so many stories, very versions of the story. Some say Sophia is great, some Sophia is horrible. Judgment, opinions. I personally wanted to give it that spin because the way I see the story of Sophia is a story of true repent, of coming back from mistakes, and that's something I'm very fond of. That's why I keep insisting. If you, for some reason, are listening to me in a prison, if for some reason you feel you have done so bad, you can come back. You can come back from your mistakes. Yes, you can. And if you need inspiration, look into the story of Sophia. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this short Friday episode. If there's a chat, I'll see you Monday. If not, I'll see you next Friday, August 29th. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for following me, for looking at my videos. Have a great day. Take care. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover your true self. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and to serve others. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover your true self? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to the universe. Simply ask, who am I? Where do I come from? What is my purpose? You will start getting signs, breakthroughs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about this reality start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering your true self equals to real freedom. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to understand this reality, but you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will set up a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, lust, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions are only your egoic mind and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@thealexshow.tv. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.thealexshow.tv. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very